Hey guys, welcome to part 6 of the DeLoach Approach. Tonight I just want to talk about why would you want to learn all these scales, right? Um, what's the benefit of it? What's the advantage? What's the return on the investment of time? Um, well, there are several. I mean, first, we all know that you're never going to hear this. And the Grammy Award for playing scales the best on guitar goes to, Joe Smith, yay. That's not going to happen. As I mentioned before, scales are a means to an end. They're an exercise. They're a way to strengthen your musicality. And but what I found, I mean, there's obviously playing scales, modes, and arpeggios. Obviously it helps build your chops, gives you better technique. It develops your ears. I found that there's like an indirect approach that I tend to know what a note's going to sound like on the fretboard before I play it, just from spending so much time doing these scales, modes, and arpeggios. But the primary benefit that I get out of this, because you can do ear training in other ways, you can build your chops in other ways. But the real benefit that I get out of it is having a map of the fretboard that just seems to light up. If I want to play an A dominant 7th arpeggio, it's just like lights up. There it is, all over the fretboard. If I wanted to play a B flat half step, whole step scale, it just wham, there it is, all over the fretboard. And when I was young, this area here, the 6th fret to the 10th fret on the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings was like this no man's land. It was all vague, and I was never really sure what was down there. But now it's all clear. It just makes sense. I see these chord shapes and chord tones all over the place from practicing these things. Now, I know there's guys out there, there's guitar players out there that like, I wouldn't want my child to marry a guitarist that practices scales. Well, I understand that perspective if the only thing that guitar player practices is scales. But really, if you know what a pie chart is, if you had a pie chart of your time you spent in music, there should be a relatively small sliver of the pie that is spent working on scales, modes, and arpeggios. And the rest of the pie should be spent actually making music, of arranging, learning solos, writing, rehearsing with bands, performing, playing. That's the end of making the music. But these scales, they're just an exercise, but they're an important part. I play a lot of different styles of music, and I found that knowing the fretboard really well is so helpful. When I was young, I did a ton of bluegrass flat picking. I'm actually trying to resurrect my flat picking chops as we speak. We'll see how that goes. But just in flat picking, if all you did, you don't have to. I counted these out. There's 545 different scale mode and arpeggio fingerings in my book and my course. And I play through these in about an hour every day. And I start with on a different note every day. Like this morning, I played through them starting on the F note. And, tomorrow I might start on D. The next day might focus on C. And just covering all the modes and arpeggios starting on that note. And so, within 12 or 15 days, however you want to spell the accidentals, I'll cover all the keys. And doing that in about an hour, and then going on, I'm playing through my fingerstyle songs, my flat picking that I'm trying to relearn. But it's just so helpful to me to know my way around the neck, especially with arranging fingerstyle songs. And I hope to get some of those recorded and out here on YouTube here this year. But like, just an example, I played for a while in this big band, and it was crazy. The other cats in this band, they were some of the best musicians on the planet, I swear. Played on all kinds of hit records with big names. And I won't drop their names. Paul McCartney told me to never drop names, right? No, but I felt like that movie Rudy, where the guy's trying to get on the Notre Dame football team. I felt like that. Like, what in the heck am I doing hanging out with these guys? Trying to hang on, because some of these songs were like 330 beats per minute. Some of the chord changes were every beat. And, they were chords like B9, sharp 11, and it was just, but knowing my neck really well, I was able to find those chord voicings and find voicings that went from one to the other fairly easily. And in a big band, you're only playing 2 and 3 note voicings, but to be able to find those thirds and those sevenths all over the place and just know where they're at, it was really helpful. There's a huge return on this. If you're just soloing over just the two of us by, was that Grover Washington Jr. was, what is that, like D major 7, C sharp 7, F sharp minor 7, E minor 7, A dominant 7. Just knowing all the different scales that'll work on that and how they're laid out over the neck makes it fun. And you're not going, 300 miles an hour on that. You can just be playing some tasty stuff, just some licks here and there, doodling around, but knowing where to land, where it's going to sound great and not be a lizard of a note that jumps out is really bad. That's cool. And again, that's the real return I find from working on this stuff. This learning the fretboard this thoroughly, I realize it's not for everybody. There's a certain DNA, there's a certain type of guitarist that has a hunger to master the instrument to this depth. And if there's only a handful of guys out there that benefit from this, some guy in Australia, some guy in Russia, wherever, that's cool. I didn't do all this effort. I realized I wasn't gonna buy a Ferrari off my jazz guitar course, but I tend to be kind of analytical in the way I look at things. My career, my day job has been kind of analytical, and I just thought this system seems like a very efficient way to really master your way around the fretboard. And I hope to demonstrate this in subsequent videos. But again, if you want to get a head start on it, I got the book out there on Amazon called The Fretboard by David DeLoach. And I got a course. And I'll put the links to these down in the description of the YouTube video here. And hit the subscribe. I can't even remember which corner it's on. But so you know about the other videos I'm popping up on this. So, because I promise soon we're going to get into actually playing and showing the fingerings and how this all works. But anyway, until then, hope I didn't bore you. Ciao. Talk to you later. Bye.